This is Module 4, Lesson 26, Part 2. We're still talking about solving word problems involving systems of equations. And this is going to come out of the workbook. Page 359, Example 2. There are 356 8th grade students at Euclid's Middle School. 34 more than 4 times the number of girls is equal to half the number of boys. Okay, now that sounds like that's an important piece of information for us right there. We might be needing that when we're writing an equation. 34 more than 4 times the number of girls is equal to half the number of boys. How many boys are there? How many girls are there? Okay, so we need some variables. How about if I say B is equal to the number of boys and G is equal to the number of girls? So now let's start writing equations. We know there's a total of 356 students. So if we add B plus G, we should get 356. The number of boys plus the number of girls is equal to 356. How about this equation? 34 more than 4 times the number of girls. So let's take girls and multiply it by 4. Add 34 to it, because it's 34 more than that. It's going to be equal to half the number of boys. 1/2 the number of boys. Okay? Now, if you look at it, we don't have anything that says B is equal to or G is equal to use substitution. But if I'm multiplying 1/2 times B, couldn't I multiply this by the reciprocal, 2/1, or just 2, and cancel that out? Do that to both sides, and I would wind up with the number of boys is equal to distributive property, 8G plus 68 is equal to B. Okay? If that's the case, can't I simply plug this in for the B, substitute it in for B? So in place of B, I'm going to put 8G plus 68 plus G equals 356. That's 356, okay? Now, we can collect like terms. This gives us 9G plus 68 is equal to 356. Subtract 68 from both sides. Use your calculator in that case. And 9G would be equal to 356 minus 68. Be equal to 288. Divide both sides by 9. And G then is equal to 288 divided by 9, which gives me 32. That means there's 32 girls. Now we need to figure out how many boys. Well, we had this equation. Boys plus girls equals 356. If the girls are 32, then we'd plug it in. We'd substitute it into the equation. We'd subtract 32 from both sides. Number of boys would be equal to 356 minus 32. That's 324. So the answer is boys. There's 324 boys. And there's 32 girls. That was what they asked us for. How many boys are in the 8th grade class? How many girls? There's our answer right there. Okay. Now keep in mind what we did here is we didn't use elimination. We used substitution. Now let's try this one. A family member has some $5 bills and some $1 bills in her wallet. Altogether, she has 18 bills and a total of $62. How many of each bill does she have? Okay, so we got $5 bills and $1 bill. Let's go. F is equal to a $5 bill, okay? All right. The $1 bill, I could go zero. I could go use O, but that would look an awful lot like zero. So I might call it a $1 bill. Let's see. I might just call that one a dollar bill. D is equal to $1 bill. Okay. Whatever you choose for your variable is not important. It just needs to mean something to you. Now, this family member has a total of 18 bills. So doesn't that mean if she adds up her $5 bills and her $1 bills, there's a total of 18 of them? Her total amount of money is $62. So we're going to have this equal to $62. If I multiply her 5 times the number of her $5 bills plus 1 times the number of her dollar bills, I would get 62. Okay? We're adding there. We need to either substitute. Do we have F is equal to or D is equal to? We do not. Okay, so we're going to need to eliminate one of these variables. I can do either one, and I'm looking for both type bills, so it doesn't really matter. I think it'd probably be easier to do the negative one for me, because here's a positive 1D. It's an understood positive one here. If I multiply this by negative 1, I will have negative 1D, and this will cancel out. So I'm going to multiply everything here by negative 1. If I do that, I now have negative F. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of this line right underneath here. I might even put it over here on this other side so you can see a little better. I would have distributive property, negative F minus D, 1D, 1F, okay, equals negative 18. Then let's bring this down. I'm adding, because anytime I'm doing elimination, I'm adding the two equations. So that's 5F plus 1D, or just D, equals 62. All right. Negative, and you know there's an understood one there. Negative 1F plus 5F is 4F. Negative 1D plus 1D gives me 0D, so that eliminates that variable, equals to negative 18 plus 62. And that would give me 44. Okay. To get to F, I divide both sides by 4, and F would be 11. That's the number of $5 bills. So I've got 11 $5 bills. Now we need to figure out how many $1 bills we got. Well, remember when we added them together, I have a total of 18 bills. F plus D is 18, right? So let's plug that into here. The number of $5 bills plus the number of $1 bills is equal to 18. I've got 11 $5 bills. So 11 plus D equals 18. Let's subtract 11 from each side, and D would be equal to 7. I've got 11 $5 bills, and I have 7 $1 bills. Okay? You can check yourself by plugging it into both equations and see if it works. All right, and number 4. A friend bought 2 boxes of pencils and 8 notebooks for school, and it cost him $11. Okay, so let's do this. We've got 2 boxes of pencils, 8 notebooks, $11. He went back to the store the same day to buy school supplies for his younger brother. He spent $11.25 on 3 boxes of pencils and 5 notebooks. How much would 7 notebooks cost? Well, first we need to figure out what 1 notebook costs, don't we? How about if I said, I'm going to say P is the, what are we looking for? Cost. So let's say the cost of a box of pencils, right? I'll use P for pencils, That lets me know what that is. N, I'm going to say is the cost of a notebook. Okay. Now let's write our two equations. 2 boxes of pencils, 8 notebooks cost $11. Okay. So if P is the cost of a box of pencils, 2 times the cost of a box of one of the pencils, box of pencils, plus 8 times the cost of a notebook, which is N, would give me $11 because that's what I paid for it. Here I've got 3 boxes of pencils, so 3 times the cost of a box of pencils, plus 5 notebooks. 5 times the cost of a notebook would be $11.25. Okay, now I can't use substitution because neither one of these say P is equal to or N is equal to. I need to use elimination. I need to get rid of one of these variables. Well, I've got 2 and 3 for my coefficients. That's not going to do me any good. I can't do anything with 2 and 3 because I can't multiply 2 by 3. I can't multiply 2 by anything to get 3, or 3 by any integer to get 2. 8 and 5, I got the same situation. Okay, so think about this, guys. What if I multiply everything here by -3, so I get a -6, and I multiply everything here by 2, so I get a +6. Remember, I'm adding these. Distributive property, this would give me -6P minus 24N equals -33. 2 times 3, see we're adding, 2 times 3 would be 6P plus 10N, and 2 times 11.25 would be equal to 22.50. Okay, now let's add the 2 equations so we can eliminate a variable. -6P plus 6P gives me 0P. That eliminates this variable. -24N plus 10N is -14N. -14N then is equal to -33 plus 22.50. And you find the difference of those two. And that is a -10.50. -10.50. Divide both sides by -14 to solve for N, which is the cost of a notebook. 1050 divided by 14 would give me 75.075. So the cost of a notebook then would be equal to $0.75, right? They asked me what 7 notebooks would cost. Let's multiply 75 cents times 7 notebooks, because it's 75 cents per notebook. And what do I get? I would get $5.25 would be the cost for 7 notebooks. Okay, now let's look at the next page on here. This is page 363 in your workbook. Small boxes contain DVDs. Large boxes contain 1 gaming machine. 3 boxes of gaming machines and a box of DVDs weigh 48 pounds. Okay? Small boxes contain DVDs. Large boxes contain gaming devices. So we're going to say, it's what we're going to talk about. What does the very end say? How much does each box weigh? Okay? I call S our small box, the weight of the small box, okay? Then we've got our large boxes. I'm going to call L is the weight of a large box. All right. 3 boxes of gaming devices. So our gaming, 3 boxes of gaming machines. The gaming machines were the large boxes. 3 L's and a box of DVDs. That's my small box. 1 S equals 48. 3 boxes of gaming devices, that's my large box, plus 5 boxes of DVDs, that's my small box, equals 72. How much does each box weigh? Well, I don't have anything I could use for substitution. There's no L's equal to or S is equal to. So I'm going to have to eliminate a variable. Okay. Look, both of these have 3 in the front, don't they? This is a positive 3, that's a positive 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So I need to get rid of one of these. What if I multiply everything here by -1? I then have 3L plus 1S equals 48. And let's use our distributive property. -3L minus 5S equals -72. You're adding these. Positive 3L plus negative 3L gives you 0. You've eliminated this variable. 1S plus -5S is -4S. 48 plus -72. You'd find the difference there. And you get -24. Divide both sides by -4. And S is equal to 6. Okay, so the small box weighs 6 pounds. Let's see what the large box weighs. We need to plug this back into one of these. How about 3L plus 1S? Put this under here so you can see it. Equals 48. I'm looking for the weight of the large box. 1 times 6 equals 48. 1 times 6 is 6. So we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. 3L is equal to 42. Divide both sides by 3. And L would be equal to 42 divided by 3. 14. So the weight of the large box is 14 pounds. See, small box, 6 pounds. Large box, 14 pounds. All right, let's look at number 2. A language arts test is worth 100 points. There are a total of 26 questions. Their spelling questions are worth 2 points, and vocabulary word questions are worth 5 points. How many of each type question is there? Okay, well, let's see. We've got a total of 26 questions. We've got spelling questions. This would be how many? The number of spelling questions. And V would be equal to the number of vocabulary questions. See, I chose V because it starts with a V like vocabulary, right? I chose S because it starts with an S like spelling. Now, there's a total of 26 questions. So the number of spelling questions plus the number of vocabulary questions equals 26. It's a 100-point test. Let's see, the spelling questions are 2 points each. So 2 times the number of spelling questions would tell you the number of points for spelling, plus your vocabularies are 5. 5 times the number of vocabulary questions gives you 100 points. We want each type question. We need to eliminate one of these variables. It does not matter which one right now because we need both the spelling questions, number of spelling questions, and the number of vocabulary. I know if there's nothing in front of the variable, the coefficient is 1. So let's see what we can get rid of here. What if I've got a 1 and a 2 here, I need this to be a -2 if I want to get rid of the spelling ones, right? So let's multiply everything up here by -2. This would give me -2s plus, or actually minus, Negative 2s minus 2v equals negative 2 times 26 would give you negative 52. And then we add what's down here because we didn't change anything here. 2s plus 5v equals 100. Now let's add these together. Negative 2s plus positive 2s would give me 0. I have eliminated that variable. Negative 2v plus 5v is 3v. Negative 52 plus 100 gives me 48. Let's divide both sides by 3. And the number of vocabulary questions would be 48 divided by 3, which is 16. There's 16 vocabulary questions. How do we figure out how many spelling questions there are? Remember, there was a total of 26 questions. The number of spelling plus the number of vocabulary was equal to 26. That was this equation right here. Let's plug in our vocabulary, our 16. So to get to the number of spelling questions, I'd subtract 16 from each side. The number of spelling questions then would be equal to 8, okay? Right. Now, on page 361, let's look at this top question. A farm raises cows and chickens. The farmer has a total of 42 animals, cows and chickens, okay? One day he counts the legs of all of his animals and realizes he has a total of 114 legs. How many cows does he have? How many chickens? Okay, now both of those start with C, so that makes this difficult. I'm going to do cows. I'm going to call them W, because there's a W in cows. Chickens, I'm going to call them H. W is going to be my number of cows. H is going to be the number of chickens. You can use whatever variables you want to. Now let's find two equations to use here. The farmer has a total of 42 animals. So if I add up the cows plus the chickens, whoops, that's an H we were going with, right? It equals to 42. Now we've got to add up the number of legs, right? Cows have 4 legs. So 4 times the number of cows will tell me how many legs come from the cows. Plus chickens have 2 legs, so 2 times the number of chickens would give me a total of 114 legs. Now we have 2 equations with the 2 unknowns, with the 2 variables. We can eliminate one of the variables and solve for it, okay? Doesn't matter which one because we need to know both of these. Okay, we know there's an understood 1 in front of these 2 variables that don't have coefficients in front of them. If I've got a 1 here and a 4 here, and I'm adding these, how can I get rid of one of these variables? If I multiply negative 4 times everything here, I'm going to have a negative 4w plus a 4w, and that would cancel. So let's do that. Use our distributive property. Negative 4w, and negative 4 times 1h would be negative 4h is equal to negative 4 times 42, okay? Make sure you use your calculator. That's negative 168. And let's bring the rest of this equation down here. Plus 4w plus 2h is equal to 114. Negative 4w plus 4w gives you 0w. You have eliminated this variable. Negative 4h plus 2h gives you negative 2h. Negative 168 plus 114 will give you a negative 54. Divide both sides by negative 2, and h would give you 27. So you've got 27 chickens, right? Well, from the beginning, we said there was a total of 42 animals. The cows plus the chickens was equal to 42. See the equation right here? So if we've got 27 chickens, we're looking for the number of cows. We plug it into the equation. To solve for this, you'd subtract 27 from both sides. Your number of cows would be equal to 42 minus 27. Make sure you use your calculator so you don't make any mistakes. And that would give you 15. The number of cows would be 15. 15 cows, 27 chickens, for a total of 42 animals. Number 2 on this page. Now this is going to involve a lot of different things. So we're going to put in the things that we know to get to where we want to be. The length of a rectangle is 4 times the width. So let's draw a rectangle first so we know what we're talking about. Rectangle is going to look like this, right? And this is the length, this is the length, this is the width, this is the width. It says here the length is 4 times the width. So the length is equal to 4W. The perimeter of a rectangle is 45 inches. Perimeter is the distance around, okay? So if we look at this, L plus W plus L plus W. There's 2 L's, right? That's 2 times the length, plus there's 2 widths, 2 times the width. The perimeter is 45. 45 is equal to 2 times the length, plus 2 times the width, okay? Well, they want us to find the area. Area is equal to length times width. I've got to find the length and the width to be able to do this, don't I? I've got 2 equations here. I've got this one here too. Look, if the length's equal to 4W, can't I substitute this in right here for the length? 45 is equal to 2, and I'm substituting 4W in place of the length. Okay, 45 then is equal to 2 times 4, which is 8W, plus 2W. 45 is equal to 10W. Divide both sides by 10. And W is equal to 4.5. Okay, so our width is 4.5. We'll plug that in here. We need the length. The length is equal to 4 times W. So our length is 4 times 4.5. That gives you length is 18. So let's substitute 18 in here. Area is equal to 18 times 4.5. Let's multiply. 18 times 4.5. And you get 81. So your area is equal to 81, and this was in inches, so that would be square inches. All right. And then this one, 2 numbers have a sum of 1,212. Sum means you add them, and a difference of 518. What are the 2 numbers? What if you use X and Y? X plus Y is equal to 1,212. X minus Y is equal to 518. Okay? Nothing says X is equal to or Y is equal to, so I need to eliminate a variable. I know there's ones in front of all these that don't have anything in front of them. I've got a 1Y, positive 1Y plus a negative 1Y. That would eliminate the Y. 1X plus 1X is 2X. Add these 2 together, 1,212. It's 1,730. Divide both sides by 2. You've got 865. X is 865. We need to find the other number. Plug it into one of our original equations. X plus y is equal to 1,212. If X is 865 plus y is equal to 1,212, we'd subtract 865 from each side. Y would be equal to 347. And the final one. The sum of the ages of two brothers is 46. So let's write that down. We've got two brothers' ages. I'm going to call, we've got the older brother and the younger brother, but let's just say X and Y. X plus Y is 46. The younger brother, okay, we're going to say Y is the younger brother. The younger brother is, so that means equals 10 more, so you're adding 10 to a third of the older brother's age, 1/3 of the older brother's age, okay? How old is the younger brother? We just want the younger brother. Now look, we've got Y is equal to, I can plug this in for Y. X plus 10 plus 1/3 X equals 46. There's an understood 1 here, so I have 1 and 1/3 X plus 10 equals 46. See, I've combined like terms. Okay, I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. I now have 1/3 X equals 36. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. That's 4/3 X equals 36. Okay? Let's multiply both sides by 3/4. Because this is what you do. You multiply by the reciprocal whenever you're trying to divide by a fraction. Notice how this cancels. X is equal to 36 times 3 divided by 4. It's 27. X is 27. Now, is that what it asked us for, was the younger brother's age? No, we said Y was the younger brother. They want the younger brother. X is the older brother. 27 plus Y equals 46. We're substituting back in here to get the younger brother, the Y. Let's subtract 27 from both sides. 46 minus 27. And you have 19. The younger brother is 19 years old. Okay, that covers all the problems that we had in the workbook. And we have covered how to solve word problems using a system of linear equations.